Okay, so staying on the subject of puppets, we'll take a look at this clown here. I'm going to show you a clip of Ed Miliband. What's important is not what he says, but how many times he says it. Just watch this.
These strikes are wrong at a time when negotiations are still going on. But parents and the public have been let down by both sides because the government has acted in a reckless and provocative manner. After today's disruption, I urge both sides to put aside the rhetoric, get round the negotiating table and stop it happening again.
I listened to your speech in Wrexham and you talked about the Labour Party being a movement. A lot of people in that movement are the people who are on strike today, and they'll be looking at you and thinking, well, you're describing these strikes as wrong. Why aren't you giving us more leadership as a leader of the Labour movement?
At a time when negotiations are still going on, I do believe these strikes are wrong. And that's why I say both sides should, after today's disruption, get round the negotiating table, put aside the rhetoric and sort the problem out. Because the public and parents have been let down by both sides. The government's acted in a reckless and provocative manner.
I spoke to Francis Moore before I came here, and the tone he was striking was a very conciliatory one. Do you think there's a difference between the words they're saying in public and the attitude they're striking in private in these negotiations? Are there negotiations in good faith, would you say?
What I say is that the strikes are wrong when negotiations are still going on, but the government has acted in a reckless and provocative manner in the way it's gone about these issues. After today's disruption, I urge both sides to get round the negotiating table, put aside the rhetoric, and stop this kind of thing happening again.
It's a statement you've made publicly and you'll make to me, and this will be broadcast obviously, but have you spoken privately to any union leaders and expressed your view to them on a personal level, would you say?
Well, what I say in public and in private to everybody involved in this is get round the negotiating table, put aside the rhetoric and stop this kind of action happening again. These strikes are wrong because negotiations are still going on, but parents and the public have been let down by the government as well, who've acted in a reckless and provocative manner.
You're a parent, I'm a parent, a lot of people watching this will be parents. Has it affected you personally, this action? Has it affected your family, your friends? I mean, and what is the net effect of that going to be on parents having to take a day off work today?
I think parents up and down the country have been affected by this action, and it's wrong at a time when negotiations are still going on. Parents have been let down by both sides because the government has acted in a reckless and provocative manner. I think that both sides should, after today's disruption, get round the negotiating table, put aside the rhetoric and stop this kind of thing happening.
All right. 5 times. 5 times he said exactly the same thing. Now, what that tells me is that those words have been written down and pretty much learned. And I would ask the question, who has written those words? Has he written them and learned them? Someone else written them and learned them? If someone else has written them and he learned them, that means he's 100% a puppet. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he wrote them down and learned them. Is that the behaviour of a leader? Not in my opinion. The only thing that we should be saying to the likes of Ed Miliband, and I would include David Cameron, Theresa May and Hague and the lot of them, the only question we should be getting involved with them is take me to your leader. That's it. Because he's not the leader and neither is David Cameron. And this is what we need to be exposing in British politics. The fact that they're all puppets and are answerable to unseen puppet masters. Take me to your leader. And what about the interviewer there, the journalist who sat there and happily listened to the same answer 5 times? He's part of the same puppet show. So our media are just as much to blame for the trash that they present us with. All right. Now, I suspect that those who are running the show, who are manipulating people like Ed Miliband and David Cameron, the real power in our country, are also running a subversion and demoralisation campaign. And they're using the law, they're using the media and various other strands in order to demoralise the public, with the intention of making the public impotent and not capable of opposing certain decisions that are going on behind the scenes. And I come to this conclusion because I've looked at the work of Yuri Bezmenov. Bezmenov was a former KGB agent who defected to the West in the 1980s, and he gave lectures on how Soviet Union were trying to demoralise their population in order to subvert and destabilise them so that they can be steered in any direction, right? And then controlled, become subservient to the state. And you've only got to look at his subversion chart to see so many striking similarities between what's going on in Britain today and what they were doing in Soviet Russia. So I'm going to just give a few quick examples. In education, he said that we need to create permissiveness, which is a lack of rules, resulting in ignorance. In the media, monopolise and manipulate it to create an uninformed myopia. Myopia meaning you're not able to see the big picture. I think we've definitely got an uninformed myopia on the Madeleine McCann case because the media has been manipulated and monopolised. All the proof of that is in my documentaries. But that's not the only subject where we have a manipulated media. The London bombings, 9/11, the list is endless. And we do have an uninformed myopia, anyone who believes what they read in tabloid newspapers. So there's another example of where Yuri Bezmenov's chart is lining up with what's going on in Britain today. In culture, create false heroes and role models. Pop idol, Premier League footballers. On every poster that you come past is Premier League footballers. Are they really the heroes of today? They're false heroes and role models. Okay, now, in the area of life, I'm going to drill down into this area, family and society, break it up in order to create loyalty to the state. Now, I think in Western democracies, it's not just loyalty to the state, I think there's loyalty to corporations as well, because they're promoting consumerist materialism. They're trying to get people to overconsume, which ties into this one here, of health, create junk food, and then ending up with enfeebled masses. You've just got to look around you to realise that people are not living healthy lifestyles and ask the question, is that a manipulation or is it by accident? I say it's by manipulation. So let's just look at these areas of breaking up the family and breaking up society. Just imagine that society is this wall and you are one brick in it. We're all functioning together as a society. This is what they were trying to do in Soviet Russia. Demoralise you, make you feel isolated. Now, if you're going to chop that wall up, one way of doing it is to identify certain groups of people and then make the rest of society detest them or hate them. So this is what they're doing. They're identifying particular groups in society and they're producing television documentaries in order to get people to hate them. Now, let's just say that these green blocks represent people on benefits. I showed this clip in my last talk. I'm going to show it again. What is the psychological effect of this type of documentary?
Julie and Vinny Bienvenue are also experts on life on the dole.
I need a bit.
No.
I really need a bit. Yeah. I need a bit.
These newlyweds are part of Britain's record number of long-term unemployed. No work for more than 6 years. And their only hard graft is working the system.
People find it easier to live off the government because they get most of the things paid for them. And yeah, it is easy doing that. And then you got people that don't want to work and can't be asked, and they find it easy to claim benefit. And I don't know how they justify that. I'm in that position, yeah. I'll hold my hands up, yeah.
At the end of the day, you'd be better off going for the VIP one because it's included.
Julie and Vinny want more. Julie gets sickness benefit, 310 quid a fortnight. All of Vinny and Julie's 9 children are living on benefits. They're the next welfare generation. Julie has to ring up the dole office to check just how much cash they've got coming in.
But can you possibly tell me how much will be going into my bank, please?
And with unexpected cash in the bank, it's time to spend.
Hopefully I can get me money out.
But they spend more on fags and their TV package than they do on food and other basics. Housing benefit is one of the largest chunks of Britain's welfare bill.
The cheeky twat.
Vinny has secured the new home they wanted in the space of just a few days.
Fucking lift up.
I'll have a coffee.
Julie hasn't had a job for 6 years. But the future's bright for Julie and Vinny in Liverpool. It's an arrangement that somehow gets them more benefits. And the cable TV man is back. So, spirits are high. Short of getting a job, life couldn't be rosier.
Now, these documentaries are very successful. People who get taken in by them they spit poison at the people who've been duped to take part in them, and they have been duped to take part in them, because this is the poster that Channel 5 used to recruit people for that documentary. What is life really like on benefits? Channel 5 is making a new documentary series looking at what life is really like when you live on benefits. We are offering individuals and families the opportunity to speak about their personal experiences. Do you struggle to survive? Are there no jobs in your hometown? Do you think the system is generous enough? This was actually on a wall in a pub in Merthyr Tydfil. I took a photograph of it. It doesn't say, are you on benefits and proud? No one is on benefits and proud, let's face it, right? So these documentaries, they're not exposés of people who are working the system. They're there to make you hate a large section of the population in order to demoralise. I mean, you've just got to go into the news agents any day and you'll see benefit bashing stories. I blow my benefits on baby spray tans. Is that really the exposé of someone who's abusing their benefits? I don't think so. There's an ulterior motive. Now, I wanted to find out what other TV shows people find subversive, so I put this appeal out recently. I'm starting a Richplanet league table of the most subversive shows on television. So if you want to suggest which programs you think are being subversive and why, please go to this link where you can post your suggestion and tell me which TV program you think is the most deviously manipulative on television. I will then compile a league table of TV shows which are considered by viewers to be the most dangerous to the mind and being used to subvert. If you need some advice on where to start, why not try Channel 5's documentaries, which are a cesspit of half-truths and use highly selective editing to present blatantly orchestrated, semi-fictional narratives as some kind of real-life documentary. I'd rather watch CAC.